Hi YouTube, XtremeTrainz here. So, as you can see in front of me is a brand new 2019 Thomas Wood engine, one which I've been looking forward to for quite some time, but has taken quite a long time to get to me because even though I bought her from Amazon and she was in stock, she still took 3 weeks to ship, so I don't know what's going on there. But now I've got Rebecca, the newest addition to the Steam team, in my hot little hands. Let's open her up and take a look. Really quickly, packaging on the front is exactly what you'd expect. Packaging on the back, the first thing I want to say is it seems to me, and I don't know if it's just me, but these newer for 2019 engines have slightly more realistic renders on them. They seem to be more like, almost like Photoshop photos rather than CGI renders of the toys. That's just something I noticed straight away when I looked at this picture here. It looked a bit different to the old ones, and unfortunately I don't have any of the old packaging to compare that to. So I don't know, you guys, do you think that looks different? Maybe it's just me. Otherwise, we've got the character bio here. You can pause it if you want to have a look at it. I think this one is pretty accurate. It seems that they've got rid of the really weird ones, which is good because they were really weird. Alright, that's enough from me. Let's open her up. Alright, so you can see Rebecca is here out of her packaging. So, first thing I'm going to do is give her the quick turn. Yeah, awesome. The first thing I want to say is, I don't know what it's about her, but she feels very satisfying in the hands. I don't know why, like compared to these engines, she just feels more quality in my hand. And I don't know if that's just because she's fully painted, and she's the first tender engine I bought, which is of the fully painted variety. I'm not sure, but I just quite enjoy the way it feels in the hands. I don't know why exactly. But, meanwhile, on to the face. I think that is a pretty good Rebecca face. Looks like the character. Yep, that's pretty good. In terms of how her front looks, I think they've done a decent job of capturing it. You've obviously got the red buffer beams, which is obviously a lot simpler than her actual design, but for the purposes of this range, that's fine. And the little headlamp would have been nice if that could have been, you know, picked out in some more color, but anyway, you can see we've got I'm glad they got the shaping of her big little smoke deflectors on there. Again, shame that they're not like properly separate from the body, but at least they do have an individual shape to them. Nameplate there. I'm glad they got the shape of the funnel right. That's good to see. You get the nice patterning on the side. I like the way they continue it through. Again, this detailing is good, but you know, as I'm always saying, it's a bit weird because really this should be where all of her driving wheels are. But anyway, I think there's some interesting stuff they've done here to try and, like, you know, make it look like her cab is kind of coming around. The more I look at that, the weirder that part looks to me specifically, because they're trying to force the perspective on there, I think, a bit. But that is okay. Again, nothing painted on the back. It is nice, though, to have the black on the bottom with Rebecca left unpainted. Yeah, so that actually, I think, looks quite nice. I think the yellow, too, they've given her is quite bright and vibrant, so she really does stand out as an engine. It looks really quite nice. Next, we've got the block tender, and I have to say, this is the first block tender I've seen in the fully painted, and wow, they are miles better when they are fully painted. It does probably help that Rebecca's tender is quite square. You can see there's still the black outline for these parts here, so she's kind of like mostly a rectangle bit with just that little top part that sticks up. But for the most part, and as you can see, there's no weird voids on the top, which I think look really good. Like, that is all painted nicely. I actually think that these new painted tenders look, you know, pretty decent, really. Obviously, they do not compare at all to the old ones from Thomas Wood and Railway, but for what we got and what we got to deal with, this is a massive improvement. Really good to see. Again, lice on the bottom. Interesting that it almost, you can, again, you know, it's interesting that they seem to paint like the yellow undercoat and then the black over the top, which explains why there's a bit of yellow in the writing. I don't know, it's weird considering how anti-paint they were. This one has a couple of spots in the paint, as you can kind of see there. There's like a big lumpy bit on the bottom there, and then some dots, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But interestingly enough, they actually don't paint, sorry, it's painted and then printed, and they actually don't print the yellow, so there's actually a space. You know, this part here isn't printed yellow, it's painted yellow, and they just print the blue over the top. So, that's her there. Couple her together, chuff her along. Again, I think she looks quite nice. The colors look really nice. This is a respectable, I think, toy train. I think, again, though, as I'm going to say literally every single time I review one of these, if we compare it to a Thomas, obviously this is the 2018 version, you know, it's just, That's a problem. I think they've done, again, a decent job of making her look bigger because she's a big kind of blocky engine. But I still don't think it gets around the fact that she's meant to be very, very big, and she just... she's the same size as Thomas. So, you know, like, what can you do? So there's that comparison. Another comparison which I can do, which I kept this Rebecca here for this reason. And now, here we go. So this is the TrackMaster Push-Along Rebecca. And you can see here what they've done differently. So, again, interestingly enough, the premium line is less detailed than the, you know, less premium, the cheaper railway line. You've got the more accurate buffer detailing on the front. You've got the light painted on the top. In terms of which face is better, I actually think I like the expression on this one better, to be honest. You've got all the rivet detailing along the side here. You've definitely got more of that shape here, more detailing on the top. You've got the proper cab design here. So this is what, see, this window here is what they were trying to print there, but obviously they've done it correctly here. You know, you've got a far more accurate tender, and it's actually got the shape and the coal. You know, so while the wheels are still inaccurate and they're quite far apart, I think they do look a little bit funny. To me, well, not even to me, obviously, I think the TrackMaster Push-Along Rebecca is a far nicer, detailed model of Rebecca than this wood one is, which is really interesting because we're going to talk about the price in just a second. But given that's the case, that is quite interesting. And as I've already talked about, you get the bonus of the, you know, Thomas is actually smaller in this line. You can see he's a smaller engine than this Rebecca versus this Thomas, who is the same size. So I think that says quite a lot. And I'm glad I could do that comparison in this video. But yeah, that is that. So I've hinted at price. Let's talk about price. So this Rebecca was quite expensive. I've talked about in previous videos that Amazon pricing makes no sense. It doesn't make no sense. Very inconsistent. But I picked her up for $26 Australian with free shipping because I have Amazon Prime and I bought it with a bunch of other stuff. To me, again, I just don't think this justifies the $26 price tag. You can pick up the Adventures, or I keep calling it Adventures, the TrackMaster Push-Along, the Rebecca, for, you know, about $10 in Australia, at, you know, very max $12, which is half the price of this engine. And I think personally, in my opinion, you're getting a far more detailed engine. Yes, the wheels are funny, but the wheels are also incorrect on here. So, you know, you're not really losing anything in the wheel department. I think that you actually get a better engine in this range than you do in the Thomas Wood range, even though I, you know, have a strong personal bias towards Thomas Wood. So if you ask me, the value just isn't there. I don't think you can justify it, unfortunately. So, what do I think about this toy? I think this is a good Thomas Wood train, but I still don't think Thomas Wood presents itself as a viable, valuable alternative, given it has less details than it used to, less details than the other current cheaper Thomas & Friends line, and just still is so much more expensive. So, that's my thoughts about Rebecca. I'd love to know what you think if you're going to pick her up. I do think she's pretty cool in and of herself. I'm really glad she's now part of the Steam team. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on this video. As always, do all those cool things you do on YouTube. Thanks for watching. That's all your time for. This is XtremeTrainz.